Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, Syndicate. How are you? If you are in the room and you can hear my voice right now and you can see the word Syndicate, please type the word hello, just so I know you can see everything. Wonderful. Good. It is great to see you guys. I hope you've had a great 2 weeks since the last time we spoke. I tell you, I have been wicked busy. Uh, I know all of you probably have as well. Before we get started tonight, because we've got a really jam-packed night tonight, I want to ask you a question. How did you guys feel about the product creation challenge? Did you feel like you learned something? Just actually going through the process, did you feel like you picked up a lot? Let me know. And after you answer that question, I want to ask you another question. How many of you in the room felt like you achieved something you didn't think you could achieve? I mean, like, really, how many of you felt like something, before you walked into that challenge, there was no possible way you were going to get that thing done, and then literally just being pushed a little bit and pushing yourself, you look up and holy crap, you did something that just seemed superhuman the week before. I remember that. I remember the first time that I put a product together and I said, you know what? That wasn't as hard as what I thought it was. And I made some good money off of it. And I said, you know what? This is really crazy. Of course, the first time I put my product together, I didn't do great. But the second time when I kind of knew what I was doing, that's when the money actually came in. And I said, you know what? This is nuts. This is really crazy. So what I wanted you guys to come out of with this is I wanted you to get 2 weeks of just mad work in, and I wanted you to see what was possible. So I hope that a lot of people in the room that participated in the challenge got that. And towards the end of the call tonight, we're going to be going through some of the things, and I'm going to be talking about some people, and we've got some prizes to give out, and we'll get to that at the end of the night. But first things first, before we get into all that, tonight we're getting into copy. So how many of you are excited to learn a little bit about copywriting tonight, and you're ready to see some live case studies, and you're ready to see that, like, I'm going to give you the full blown. I'm going to tell you exactly what these letters brought in for us. So not only do you get to see the letter, you get to hear actually how these letters converted. Does that sound pretty good? And I'll tell you the science and the thinking behind all this stuff that you learned. And I think that's a big deal too. So if I forget to say something about one of the letters and you have a question about the letters, then please ask, okay? Because I want you guys to learn a lot tonight. Next time we meet, I've got something extremely special for you. I have a very good friend of mine who's going to be on the call, and he's coming on to talk to you guys, and he actually has written some $1 million sales letters, and he's going to be on the call. And yeah, if you want to know who it is, you probably can guess, but he has decided to come on and do a full show for us just for you guys. So, should be fun, right? Should be fun. So, going to be bringing on a friend. And you guys, if you think you know who it is, you may not know who it is because I actually know several world-class copywriters. I know a few that I've met actually in my time. So, both of them, I'll tell you, I'll give you a hint. One of the guy who it is, he spoke at my last event. So there was really 2 to 3 copywriters that spoke at my last event. So there you go. That'll give you some sort of hint. There was actually 3 people that were up on stage that were copywriters last time. So you can guess from there. All right, so let's get started tonight. First things first, tonight we're talking about copy. At the end of the show, we're actually going to be giving out some prizes. But first things first, we're going to go through copy. Now, I'm not going to give you a conventional copywriting talk. And the reason is the person I've got coming in a couple weeks, they are going to give you kind of the walkthrough, okay? They're going to give you the walkthrough. But what we're going to actually be doing tonight is I'm going to be giving you live examples, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask questions as to why we did things and give you just kind of a live walkthrough. So we're going to get started with that. I'm going to give you kind of a walkthrough of a sales letter with a sales letter that's already done. So first things first, you guys ready to see the sales letters? Ready to rock tonight? Thanks for staying up late with me, by the way, or getting up early, one way or the other. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to switch everything over to the computer with the sales letters on it. So let's move this on. And as soon as you guys can see this, please let me know. Does this sales letter look familiar to anyone? Maybe a few of you saw it just recently. And if you didn't, that's okay. I wanted to start off with something that was very current. Very, very current. And I'm going to give you guys some tips. Before we even get into the actual copy part, I'm going to give you guys some tips. What is it that you notice about the background of the sales letter? Very clean. It's black. So you've got, you got some dark background, right? So you got dark background. Why is it important to have a dark background on your sales letters a lot of the time? Focus. There you go. Very good, John. Focus. So the idea is that the eye does not wander to the outside of the page. Where does it wander? Where does the eye get drawn to? And these are just simple tips, but things you need to consider. Where does the eye go? It goes to the center and to the text. Okay, so the white area. Your eye is drawn to the white area, and that's where your eye should be drawn because that's where the good stuff is, right? So you can go with a lot of fancy backgrounds. You can get crazy, but the idea is dark background, lighter where the text is, okay? Now, the standard optimized press install, does it do that? No. It's a white middle and a gray background, and the two don't contrast very much. You want some good contrast between the two. So just something so you've got there. All right, so let's get started here. First things first, let's take a look at this sales letter and let's go through this. Yeah, James, I realized that like way after we got there. So yeah, can't beat it hindsight, huh? So moving into this, can I make it bigger? Yeah, just give me a sec. Let's see what we can do, shall we? Let me see if I can't do a little zoom action here. Sometimes my mouse lets me, sometimes it doesn't. Let me actually get out of this and go to what we've got. And it's not letting me do it tonight. When you know it, the one time I actually want to zoom my stuff, it won't let me do it. Hang on, let's see if we can't get it together. Usually what you can do is you can go into your GoToWebinar. In the top left corner, you'll see Zoom. And you can zoom it up. And you can do some of that. So that's one way to do it. Let me see if I can't do a little zoom action for you here real quick. Hang on real tight. Let's see what we can do. That better? That work for you guys? Yep, good. Good. All right, so let's do it. So, all right, so let's get started. What is the first thing that we do with this whole headline complex? The headline complex, what are we doing at the top? Hey, Joe, what's up, buddy? What are we doing at the top of this page? What is that pre-headline doing? I want you guys to read through this. I want you to use your brains tonight. I want you to interact. It asks a question. Now, this is kind of one of those nice subliminal things because a lot of people aren't even going to really read this top part. And even if they do, a lot of times they won't even realize they read it. But it really asks a question. And it really gets to the bottom of our main problem. So this question at the top, this small little subheadline, is all about asking the main question. So tired of the grueling struggle to help local businesses get more customers. Is there any doubt as to what we're about to jump into? What problem, what main key problem, what one key thing is this product going to solve? That's what your pre-headline is doing in this letter. It's all about helping local businesses get more customers. That's it. Simple, right? Would you say in offline that's really like if you can do that? Would you say that you can pretty much write your own check? Howard, you're an offliner. Howard's in my offline group. Would you say that if you can do that, you can write your own check? Yeah, totally. If you can get local businesses customers, game over. You're awesome. People will pay you forever. All right, so we got that. That's our main problem. So what is the headline really doing? What is the headline really doing in relation to our pre-headline? What do you think, guys? It does. It really does sort of kind of give the answer to the question, and it really gives the main benefit of the product. So discover the simple way to get explosive growth and new customers through the door for any type of local business using Facebook. And then the subheadline, and this is a little different than what I normally do, but the subheadline makes you think even further. And it really gets into the hook of what we're doing. So a big part of this product was using Facebook for super boring businesses. Businesses that really had no business being on Facebook before because they just didn't have anything to talk about. This is the answer. So you see how that works. You see how we really brought out the main problem. We answered the main problem with what we were going to tell them. And then we kind of gave a little bit of a twist. Because if you're reading this, what do you think when you say even really boring businesses? What's the first thing that goes into your head? Like mine, right? My clients are boring, right? Let me ask you something. If you can do it for boring businesses, you can do it for what? Any type of business. Good. It's for everyone in a we kind of said it in a weird way, but that's basically what we were saying. So we got that. We got that, right? Now, what are we doing with this section? This section right below, what are we doing with this section? Right below the headline area, what are we really doing? We're jumping in and we're giving a nice, gentle stick to the main problem. Okay? So what we're doing here is we're starting a conversation and we're really kind of getting people in the mindset that we want them to be in. Let me ask you something. Even though we're doing that, does this area relate to me personally? Is there anything in here that really says, this is my problem? Or is this just kind of an area where we're saying this is the problem? Does any of this sound familiar? So this is an area where absolutely, Waldo, we're baiting the hook. We're really starting to get them in there, but we've really not related this to a personal story yet. We've just given a general overview. So, guys, how many of you read newspapers? How many of you guys read newspapers? Everybody let me know. If you read them, great. If you don't, no big deal. So let's look at a newspaper. You've got the headline, which basically gives this area here, the headline in red. This headline basically gives the entire story in just this headline. And no, I can't highlight it because it's actually an image. Sorry. But here's the thing. This area right here, this area will tell you the whole story of the story, just like in a newspaper. In a really good newspaper article, the headline will tell you the entire story in just the headline. Would you guys agree? Good, good. So for people like me that like to skim, we know pretty much the whole story. Now, if the headline's good, though, it makes us want to read further. So the first paragraph in a newspaper, which is basically this section, the first paragraph in a newspaper will basically give you a summary for the entire story, but in a little more depth than just the headline did. Okay? Everybody kind of following me on that? So the first paragraph of a newspaper article, if they're a really good newspaper, you will see that that first paragraph pretty much says the whole thing. John, I don't really know what you're saying. Ask me or clarify that a little bit. So we got that. So the first paragraph really tells the story. So this is what the first paragraph is. The first paragraph gives you a synopsis, very good, Val, of the entire thing that we're about to go into. Okay, so this is kind of a general telling of the entire story. And then we get into a question. And this is what connects the first section to the section where we get personal. All right, everybody follow me so far of what we've done here. It's about to get good, but I had to set you up. Okay, let's get into some good stuff. Now, the second you see my picture on a sales page, just about any sales page that I'm going to show you tonight, the second you see my picture, I want you to transition from, we've got very general stuff, and we're moving, once you see my picture, we move into very personal stuff, okay? So, very general stuff, but actually starts getting things together, starts framing things in your mind. Once you see my picture, the whole story becomes personal. Why is it important that it becomes personal? What do you think, guys? Why is it important that the story becomes, yeah, we have connection, we have rapport, they see themselves in me. Now, here's something I want to say. Before we go any further, I want you to notice something. You see this picture of me? So you see this picture of me. Now, what's the difference between this picture and this picture at the very bottom? What are the difference? What's the difference between the picture at the top versus the picture at the bottom? I don't have a beard in either of them, but what's the difference between the picture at the top and the picture at the bottom? Formal versus informal. Now, before we get into the letter, why is the top of the letter formal versus the bottom of the letter informal? Think about the psychology. At the top, they don't know me, so we're very formal. By the time we get to the bottom, they need to be more relaxed with me, more relaxed with my persona, and ready to have a more relaxed, I'm your friend. Makes sense, right? Okay, good. Something that you might not notice in a lot of sales letters, but that's something that's very sneakily, I don't think sneakily is a word, but I like to think sneakily is a word. Something that we sneak in there. Okay? So let's go back up here. Let's get all the way up here to the top. And let's get started. Okay, so once you see my picture, just keep in mind we're switching from this very general into a very storied setup. So this first paragraph, once we get into this, we've got a from Dr. Ben Atkins, so we're identifying who's in that picture, and we're giving them an idea of what we're going to be talking about. So right away, you know from what you read up here and what you're about to check out, we're going to be talking about local marketing on Facebook that works. Now, why is this such a touchy subject? Why is this something that Facebook marketers or local marketers are interested in. It's a sore subject. Facebook on local is not easy, okay? And that's what I'm tapping into. They've tried it. They've not been really successful with it. That's the majority of folks, all right? So what do I first say? Right here, local Facebook marketing then works. And where is my first call out? It's dear discouraged local marketer. So am I making some assumptions here? Am I making some assumptions with that first call out? Yeah, I am. So let's get into exactly what I'm doing in this first paragraph. So my name is Ben Atkins, and yes, I know how hard it is to market local businesses on Facebook. Over the last 3 years, I've used Facebook to grow my chiropractic practice as well as skyrocket the business of personal local clients. Even though I have successfully used Facebook to grow tons of local brick and mortar businesses, it wasn't always this easy for me. So what did I just do? What did I just do in that one little section? What did I do? I just accomplished several things, and I want you guys to see all this because later on when you're writing your letter, I want you to know what you're looking at. All right, number one, I'm establishing that I've had success, right? So you guys can see in a very subtle way, I'm establishing that I've had a lot of success with this. Okay? So really quickly, I slipped in, you know what, I've been there, I've done that, and I've nailed it. But then I also give them, it wasn't always this easy. And when we lead into this first headline and when we get into this section, what do I basically do? What is this headline saying? As a matter of fact, when I first started using Facebook to market local businesses, I literally thought it was a waste of time. So does that catch your attention? Like literally up here, I'm saying we have used Facebook to blow it out of the water. Headline up here says, simple way to use Facebook to help local businesses, any local business out there. And then right away, I hit you with, I thought Facebook was a waste of time. So very contrasting views, correct? Yeah, very contrasting views. So here's where it gets interesting, and I want you to see this. So I was like, a lot like what most small business owners are like when they first try to tackle Facebook, and probably just like you. Are you guys seeing a theme here? Are you seeing what we're starting to put into place? We're getting a lot of just like yous in here. I was basically poor. I had to find creative and cheap ways to get my business in front of a mass audience. So I didn't have a huge budget, probably like you. Facebook seemed like the perfect fit because, it was free. So here's where we get into the other side. And you're right, Waldo, we are building empathy. I started learning everything I could about the social network, probably like you did. I started following every Facebook guru out there, probably like you did. Can you hear me now? Am I still there, guys? Coming through? Good. So, on their advice, I set up a Facebook page for my business and started spreading the word about it. I even ran a few ads. I expected a rush of traffic and everything to take off, but that just didn't happen. So, what did we do in this section? We told the story of how I got started, what I was doing that probably a lot of you have done that are reading this, and then what I expected to see, and then we lead into what I actually saw, which is probably a lot like what most people reading this. Now, what am I doing here? What am I basically setting up here? If you see what this section is coming up, what am I straight up setting up? I'm setting up. I'm leading into with the problems that I have, the journey that I had, the things that I did to try to become successful, And I'm leading into, once I tried, what were the problems that I ran into? Remember last week or 2 weeks ago when we went through the problems and how you set the problems up? So you see, we named what? 4 main problems. So with these 4 main problems, these are the things that I faced. Later on down the line, what will these 4 main problems become, guys? If you were paying attention 2 weeks ago, what were these 4 main problems become? What do you think? Somebody's got to know. And everybody fell silent. Bless your hearts. So does nobody remember? Okay. There they are. Everybody's answer came out at once. There we go. Little lag, I guess. So the 4 things here are going to be the 4 feature benefits. So the 4 things that the 4 main problems that my product will solve. Now, in thinking about how you're going to sell your product that you came up with, how many of you guys have started to get that in your head? And just tell me yes or no. Good. Good, good. So you realize, to lead into your problems, what do you have to do before you tell them what problems you ran into? What do you have to establish before you talk about the problems you ran into? And that's where we get into this section up here. What do you really have to establish before you get into the problems? You have to establish that you tried things that were already out there. You went through a process and it didn't work. Make sense? Didn't work. It just didn't work. All right. So I said that from what I just said, what does this next headline basically say? I was starting to think that Facebook just didn't work for some kinds of small businesses. You see that? So what I'm establishing is, as I went through a process, I did the things that everybody else said that I was supposed to do. I got into what the main problems I ran into once I gave it my best college try. And then I said, you know what? I was starting to think that it didn't work because of those problems. Now, what's this next line that is actually stroked in yellow? Now it's time for the place where everything changes. So what are we doing in this section? Howard says pivot. That's good. What are we doing in this section? Deep, deep, deep psychological stuff. Exactly. Now that we have established that you and me have gone through the same things and we've had the same kinds of problems, now I'm going to tell you why I'm successful where you're still not. Does that make sense? The stroke of luck that changed my mind forever. This is the one thing that separates me from you. Okay? So let's move on. Everybody following me so far? I want to make sure everybody's staying up to speed because I'm moving pretty fast, but I want you to see how this all comes together. Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right, so here's the thing. And this is where we really start stacking it on. After following all the advice and tips I'd learned from the so-called local experts and coming up short, so we're just still piling on with that, I was about to give up, and that's when a chance encounter changed everything. I was browsing on Facebook one day, and a friend of mine shared a link to a page they had recently started to follow. And it was just, I just happened to be on Facebook when this person happened to share this, and then we get into what that was. And that's when it hit me. So we get into the things that I saw, and then it was like, you know what? Maybe that wasn't the solution, but that's when the solution hit me. The key to growing Facebook pages in a local setting is to create a page that has universal appeal to a community. What the hell does that mean? Anybody have any idea? What the hell does that mean? Universal appeal to a community. Anybody, like, straight out of the gate, what does that mean? If you hadn't bought this product, what does that mean? It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to know what that means. Is that on purpose? Yeah, it's on purpose. Of course it means everyone will appreciate, but when you read this line, you gotta be thinking in your head, well, what do you mean universal appeal? And that's when we get into giving you an idea of what we're talking about. So we're starting to take you down. And actually, what am I doing in this section? I'm actually giving away some of the secrets of my product. So I give you a hook here. So you're like, okay, what is this page that has universal appeal? And then I actually start teaching you. Let me ask you guys something. If you're reading this sales letter and you get this far down the page, have you learned something? Yes. Could you walk away from this page and have learned something if you didn't buy the product? If you just got this stinking far, you absolutely do. You absolutely learned something. Do you think it's a good idea to teach people in your sales letter? And once again, the answer is yes. Okay, so we started going through this, and we talked about everything that we were testing. And what I'm trying to do here, so you see this right here, it says I immediately started testing and engaging this audience to see what I can learn. And that's what we got. So we got this. So this next headline says, the new kind of local Facebook page literally solves every problem 99% of local businesses face when using Facebook for marketing. Now, what does this tell you? What does this slide tell you? Over the next few months, I've refined the method and mastered it. So what I'm basically telling you here is what you're getting is not conjecture. What you're getting is testing, research and development, and experience. Now, went a little off here with what we usually do, but what do these 5 points relate to? What do these 5 points relate to? The problems. Now, obviously, there's one more than the problem above, but if you really read closely, you'll see why we did that. But those relate to the problems that we talked about above. I mean, they line up almost perfectly. Now, what's the next thing we have to do? So what I'm basically telling you is right here is my new method. After I tested it and went through it, I basically solved all the problems that I had above. So now that we've done this, now that we've said we've solved the problem, we have the solution, what's the next thing that I have to do? Logically. Had problems, stumbled onto a solution, refined it, definitely got to a place where we had it refined. What's the next thing I have to tell you? Okay, let's move on. Not quite. Nobody's really jumped on it yet. This is subtle, but you need to know this. So I started building out pages in other markets, but quickly realized that I can never take advantage of every market out there. There were just too many places where this would work, and local businesses and local business consultants could benefit. Here's what's going on subconsciously in your brain right now. When I tell you I had the problem, and I tell you that I stumbled onto an amazing revolutionary solution, what's the next thing that you're going to say? You're going to say, well, if this is so good, why are you sharing it with me? Do you guys think about that? If this is so good, why are you sharing it with me? Think about that. If you got something that's so awesome, you damn well better tell me, you better prove to me why you decided to let me know. And the reason is there was too many places for me to cover. I had this great trick, but even if I told you this great trick, it didn't mean that you were going to increase my competition or ruin my trick. And I'm basically giving you the reason before I introduce the product as to why in the world I'm actually going to share it with you. So anytime you're writing a sales letter, understand people who have a solution aren't just going to give it away, especially if it's working for them. So anytime you're writing a sales letter, you have to tell people after you've come to the solution and you've got it and it's working, you have to tell people why you're sharing it with them. Everybody got that down? Good. Everybody digging this so far? Good. Good. Awesome. All right, so let's keep moving. So I decided that I needed to share this special technique that made any local audience gravitate towards one locally based Facebook page and pay attention. And that's when it's time for me to say, introducing the offline gravity method or introducing whatever product you've got. So this is the documentation of my exact method, step by step, that I use to blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, inside the members area, you'll learn. Now, what should each of these sections relate to in a perfect world? Each section of my product should relate to what? The problems. Each section should relate to the problems that we had above. Makes sense, right? So, number one, you had those problems. Number two, something cool happened and you solved all those problems. You figured out how to overcome them. Number three, you built a product that actually is going to teach me how to solve all those problems that I decided that I also had above. Pretty powerful, right? So this is probably something that as you were reading a sales letter, you have never had any idea was going on. I know I didn't. But in a good sales letter, this is what goes on. They introduce the problems so they fit you to those problems. They talk about how, you know what, struggled, and then finally something happened. And then, like, I solved these problems, and this is what I found out, which also relate back to the problems. And then they talk about the product they've got, which also answers those problems. Everybody good so far? So once you see that, you know, we've really solved all this stuff, what's the next thing? Where is your head going? Pretty much at this point, you've decided you want it, right? You've decided that you want it. You've decided that these problems in your head that you'd like to have solved are solved, and I've written the guide on how to solve them. So in your head, if you fit this profile, it's time to pick it up. So this is where we start value stacking. So how much is this going to cost? So all I'm doing here is I'm giving you, it's not, and let me say this, it's not as easy as saying, well, it's this much and then stacking down and then this much and I can charge this, or but for a special limited time, I'm going to do this. It's not that easy. You have to give people a reason that you could charge that amount. So you see how almost immediately we got cost, we've got 300. That's where your brain's going to start jumping. You'll see cost, you'll see 300, and then you're going to see what? Don't worry, right? Now, here's where some other interesting things go on. So I said it was worth 300. So if I don't sell it for 300 or the $500 an hour that it would cost to talk to me, and what other more bloated courses also teach for, 10 times the cost? Not quite that much, but you get the idea. So I'm saying there's all these things here. I'm stacking value in your head, And I'm also telling you why you're not going to pay that much, because I wrote this for struggling offline business owners and local marketers. I'm going to let you inside for less. I understand that the people that need this most don't have a ton of money to spend right now because they're probably struggling. So I gave you a reason. Now I start setting you up in price. What do most people expect to see after this section? What do most people expect to see as soon as we start talking price? They expect to see a buy button, but we're not going to do that. We're going to pleasure delay a little bit. It would really make you feel good if right here I gave you a buy button, but we're not going to do it. What are we going to do after we say, you know what, for this course, $300, $500 if I were to teach you this on the phone. Other courses that teach similar stuff, but they're way more bloated, $2,000. We don't give you a buy button. Before I talk about price, you need to see the bonuses. So you've already seen that it's worth at least $300, and we've really stacked this stuff. You're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, he's going to throw in bonuses? You see how bonuses, if you use them correctly, do exactly what they need to do. When you get to the bottom of this section where we're talking about price, you're ready to go. Because all of a sudden I've said it's worth $300, but you're not going to have to pay that. You're ready for the buy button. And what happens when you're ready for the buy button? I mean, you're ready to go. You're ready to buy right now. And then all of a sudden I stack more value. What happens then? Do you see how powerful a bonus can be if you place it in the right section? If you don't, bonuses are just crap you're throwing in. But do you see how powerful it is when I've got you ready to go, I got you on the line, and you're ready to spend a good amount of money, and then I make you wait. And the way I make you wait is I stack even more value. So everybody follow me. You got it? You kind of know where we're at. You know what we're doing, why we're doing it. You guys understand that when you're reading this, I know exactly what you're thinking. And I know exactly how to answer it. And I know exactly how to take you to the next step. That's what I want you to be. Okay, so let's move forward. So we start stacking our bonuses. So what is powerful about these bonuses? Bonus number 1, Facebook Community Chest. Does it relate? Yeah, it absolutely relates. And let me ask you something. You start going through this and you start reading some of the things that you're going to learn in the bonus. What's going on inside your brain? Like if I say, you know what, I'm going to show you the tricks I've used on local fan pages to get people engaged and paying attention so that you make an offer, they are primed and ready to act. What does that basically do? Like that's a trick that you would pay how much for? If you could know how to post on Facebook so that when you did post an offer, people were ready to go, what's that worth to you? Edge rank. Why are all Facebook posts not created equally? If I could show you the formula to get your post seen by more people, how much is that worth to you? You see what we're doing here with the bonus? You see why it's so important to really expand on what the bonus is? Now, another thing, you're probably thinking, hey, you know what, Ben, I would love to see kind of what you post. So I'm going to give you some of the exact posts we use in local markets. And remember, we're in offline world here. We're in the offline Facebook world. So if you could actually look over my shoulder, that's valuable, right? How much would you guys pay for that? And even last time, how many of you that do Facebook have ever wondered what is the best time to post on Facebook? How much money would you pay just for that little bit of information? So I take you out of I'm ready to buy, what's the price mode, and I put you back into a mode where you're thinking, holy freaking crap, how much would I pay to learn this stuff? So let's move forward. Bonus number 2. I walk you through, if you have any doubts in your brain, I tell you how to get fans. I tell you how to get fans on a page. Number 2, I tell you how to monetize those fans. For just this section, how much would you guys pay? Now, let's just jump back in. Everybody following so far, I need to see a lot of yeses. I need to see 50 yeses right now so I know that we're ready to move on and you guys are following me and you know where we're at, what we're doing, and this is making sense to you. Do I seem excited when I'm reading this? Because I am. All right, so what do we do now? We just went through the product. We just went through the pricing of what was going to be. We just went through the bonuses. Now, what do? This is where we start stacking the value of the product. So, of all those different things that you're going to learn in the main product, it combines to a value of this, of just the individual pieces. And then you add in the bonus 1 and the bonus 2, and that's the value there. And you hit a value of this. So what am I doing to you again? Like literally, what am I doing to you guys right now? I'm going right back into framing the price so that by the time you get to the buy button, you're ready. All right, so let's get into this. The value that I've given very few people, that I've taught to very few people, so this is rare. How nice would it be to not wonder, and this is key, how nice would it be to never, I think I screwed this up, and you can tell I screwed it up here. It still works. How nice would it be to never wonder how to help a local business again? And you can see you have room for error because I do it all the time. Now, due to the sensitive nature of this information, this will sell for around $297 when we release it to the general public. And you know what? It's a bargain at that price, but you won't pay that. Okay, first price. Now, by the time someone got down to this price tag, were they ready to go? Were they ready to pay $9.95 or $17 that we asked? Yes, without a doubt. Hell, $300 was about the lowest we had set it up to be. Absolutely. Now, let's stack some more value. Still, you're taking a risk, right? You're taking a risk. So what's the next thing you need to see after this first buy button? Because I want you to try this out, copy my method, and have your own success the next 30 days. I'm including my over-the-top guarantee to remove your risk almost completely. And then we have our guarantee, which also takes more risk away from you and it puts it more on me. Okay. Now, once we get to that point, what do we have to do? Once we've removed all the risk, once we've stacked the value, what is the next thing that we have to do? At this point, it's time we have to create urgency. We want people to feel like, you know what? This is not going to last. This is a hell of a deal. We've already established that. Why would we leave it at this price forever? And by the way, this is going up this week. We left it low for a lot longer than we should have. So we've got that. So we talk about some urgency here. And what you're probably thinking of at this point is like, okay, great, but and then you start thinking, well, oh, wait, why, he's starting to give me some urgency. This is a sales letter. So you get into sales letter mode, right? There's a possibility at this point you're going to get into thinking, you know what? This is urgency. They're creating urgency. And I knew that. I knew possibly, even though this is very effective at this point, there's a chance that some of the people reading this are going to go, oh, wait, this is a sales letter. Is this for real? So what do we have next? I have something that brings them back. It's, you know what? It doesn't matter. Other people are doing this. This is where the testimonials come in. This is where we're bringing people in to say, you know what, with Dr. Ben's stuff, you know what, he just threw some urgency at you. Of course he's trying to sell this, but you know what, this stuff worked for me. His stuff works. And that's when we get into our testimonials. And I pulled these from Facebook. I wanted that familiarity. Now, one more time. Once we get out of our testimonials, they're ready to go. One more time, very briefly, we're going to talk about price. And then they see this again. Everybody follow me? Then there's good old casual Ben sitting at the bottom of the letter. Your good buddy Ben. And we knocked that out in 50 minutes. That's not bad. Now, do you think that probably there's a little more to this? Yes, absolutely. But if you think if you can nail those things that we just went through, do you think you can move some product? Think you can move some product if you nail the things that we just went through? Absolutely. Absolutely you can. Very, very good. Who learned something tonight? Good. Good. All right. So, hopefully you dug that. Let's move into our actual product stuff. I want to get into kind of what we did. First things first, I really appreciate you guys jumping into this stuff. First thing I want to do is I want to give you the prizes that we're going to do for the stuff so you kind of know what's at stake here. And then I'm going to kind of go in and tell you a little bit more about. Number one, I want to let everybody know, if you submitted a product and you got it in the time limit, guess what? You win something. So there is a prize for everybody that got in tonight. Okay? So everybody that actually submitted a product, you guys win something, and it's very pointed. Okay? So here's what we're doing. For those of you that submitted something, we have several info products that we have up for grabs for you. Now, there's a couple things that I want you to do with these info products if you did not win the main prize. Even if you won the main prize, I want you to do this. Anything that we've released in the last 6 months that's been an info product, you have a shot at. There's another thing that we actually have in this package that you can choose from, though. And I actually want to steer you in this direction. Okay? There was a product that we released last year. It was a good buddy, Craig. How many of you know Craig Brower? How many of you know Craig? Okay, Craig is a good friend of mine. And we actually wrote a product called the buyer infiltration method. The thing about the buyer infiltration method, and the reason I want you to consider this to be the prize that you take, is the buyer infiltration method shows you how to create a product and use it to grow a list without ever doing a launch. And you're going to get the upgraded buyer infiltration method, by the way. So if you don't have the buyer infiltration method, I would like to steer you towards accepting that as your prize, and I will get you the link for that, okay? However, if you already have it, that's okay. I'm going to tell you right now, off of what you just did in the last 2 weeks, and now that you have a product, I'm going to tell you that is going to be the best fit for you because you can start building a list without ever doing a launch. That's pretty cool, right? Start building a list without ever doing a launch with just the product you created. So you don't have to write a sales letter. You don't have to do a lot of crazy stuff. All you got to do is go through the buyer infiltration method, and you have to use that content, and you will actually add buyers to your list. Sounds pretty good, right? So if you didn't win one of the main top 3 prizes, then you get that as long as you submitted a product. Now, we had about 18 people submit products. So first things first, everybody give those 18, and if you're one of those 18, give yourself a round of applause because that is pretty awesome. If you're one of those 18, round of applause. You did great. I'm super proud. That is 18 different products that came into the world that weren't there before our 2-week challenge. So very good, guys. Very, very good. Now, first, second, and third. What do first, second, third get? Third place in our contest. Third place in our contest gets $50. So you get $50 PayPal to you. Pretty cool, right? So just for going through the motions, getting something out there, getting it done. If you got third place, then absolutely. Absolutely. Second place, you get $100. $100 for second place if you came in second. Okay? All right. Now, first place, what first place winner gets is they get $200, and they also get a copy review from Miss Judy K, which is also, she's also a member of the Syndicate. I have actually had some very, very good things come out of Judy reviewing some of our stuff. So when you write your sales letter, you go through, you follow kind of what we did tonight. You put it in front of Judy. Judy will go through your sales letter. She's very accomplished. I have made a lot of money because of Judy. I'm actually paying Judy to review your sales letter and go through it with you. Sound like decent prizes? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All righty. So, who's ready? Who's ready? First thing before I get into this, I want you to know this was actually several people judging this. It wasn't just me. It was actually several other people that I had help me go through it, and it was kind of a vote. So there was a lot of factors that went into this. I'm going to tell you, no judge agreed on who was first or second or third, but kind of a combined voting, we came up with something that got us to where we are. So very good work. I'm proud of everybody that got there. You have changed yourself just by getting there. All right, so let's get into it. Let me pull out I actually put it in an envelope because I felt that it was a much more fun thing to do that. But yeah, let me pull up here. Out of the 18 to 19 that we had in here, third place. First things first, before I do this, those of you that went through the thread, I want you to tell me what your favorite was. And I'll give you a second to type it before I actually get these out here. All right, good. Nice. So definitely went through there. All right, so third place. And I don't know if they're on the call tonight, but either way, we'll make sure that they get the info. Third place was Shiny Object Smasher, and that was Lori Moore. So very cool, Lori. Like you win $50, and yeah, third place in our first contest of the year. By the way, this won't be our last contest, but it's our first of the year. So Lori, congratulations, and please give Lori a hand, guys. She did a good job. Second place. Who's ready for second place? Second place in the winner of $100 sent directly to your PayPal account is Mr. Nathan Kress. Nathan, I loved your art. There was a couple things on it that I would talk to you about that we could tweak up a little bit as far as the content, but I thought you did a hell of a job, and I really, really enjoyed your product. So very, very good. Very, very good. So big congrats to Nathan, guys. Throw it out to Nathan and give him a big woohoo. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nathan's product was was it the Walking Dread? I'm sorry, my handwriting's I've gone through this over the last 3-4 weeks, and I'm going back over my handwriting now, and I can't. Yeah, okay, good. I'm like, what is this? I know it was a Walking Dead thing, but Walking Dread. So thought it was cool. Thought it was very, very cool. Now, who's ready for number one? This is, by the way, this is when I accidentally, in quote marks, turned the webinar off. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right, so number one, I had a couple copyright issues that I've got to go over with this person, but it was my favorite because of ease of read and the style very much matched what we were teaching. And like I said, the thing that jumped out to me the most is this was the one that I could really go through and read hardcore. And I really love this. It was easy to digest the information. And that was, let's see what we got here. Let me pull this up. I'm going to find them on my other sheet too. This was the Kindle Detective Guide. The Kindle Detective Guide, I really, really liked the setup of that. And let me pull this up really quick because I actually want to see this again. But the Kindle Detective Guide, the reason I like this, and this was from Morgan. So Morgan, I really liked your setup. It was an easy read. Your formatting was good. Guys, the thing that I want you to go through, Morgan, you got to be careful with the Ace Ventura stuff because they will sue you for that. But the thing I really liked about your stuff is, and guys, go back and go through Morgan's stuff, and I want you to see the way that she separates her paragraphs, the way that she lays out her chapters, the nice use of pictures. It was a very easy read. So that's what I really dug about it. The only thing I would tell you, and if you want to see these, they're all in the Syndicate thread, and I've got it pinned to the top in the replay section. So just jump in there. The only thing I would say, Morgan, is I love that you went with the movie, but you got to be careful with the image of Jim Carrey because that could get you in trouble. So yeah. Just go to syndicate.member.com/forum. Inside the replay section, you'll see that pinned to the top, and it's one of the most popular threads in the forum. And we'll go that way. So, Morgan, you won $200, and that's directly to your PayPal. And also, Judy K is going to be working with you on your sales letter when you get it done. So, here's the challenge to you guys now. Get your sales letter written and get it done within the next 2 weeks. What happens if you don't get that sales letter written, do you think? All of these products were so good. If you guys don't get these up for sale, I am going to be extremely pissed. You got to get these up for sale. Now, a couple honorable mentions that I have to go through tonight. Anthony V. Anthony, are you on the call? Anthony, what happened to you? Like, tell me what happened to you during the course of this entire contest over the last month. What happened with the thing that you put together? I don't know how many of you followed this thread, but this was extremely interesting. This was extremely interesting. Anthony, that he decided that he was going to do it. It was in his head that it was going to happen. When did you release this product, Anthony? When did you actually release it and put it up for sale? He released it on Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, cool. What happened, Anthony? What happened after you released it? Mailed with one partner, got the EPCs up, and then Anthony actually became, he got more and more people to mail. It became a smash success. It got JB Zoo product of the day, and you built a nice little list and made some money, right? Yeah. So, Anthony, I applaud the hustle, getting it out there. Anthony said that he just cleared $10,000 gross. What was the name of the product, Anthony? Because some people want to know. offline double tap. And the way that I knew about this is I actually saw this on the leaderboard with the gravity method over the weekend. So he did very, very well. So Anthony, proud of you. Very, very cool. So guys, do you see what happens? Now, is it scary putting it up for sale? Yes. The first time you do it, it's super scary. But good things happen when you get it up for sale. What are the two worst things and the two best things that can happen? One, you make a lot of money. Two, it doesn't do so well and you learn a lot. I mean, that's it. If you don't do well, you learn a lot. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. All right, so one more thing. I have to mention a very special person that actually was extremely involved. And I actually haven't done this in several months, but we are going to go ahead and name a Syndicate member of the month because of how involved they were in this particular process. And they were in the thread. They were working their butt off with people to help them get their stuff done. So our January member of the month is going to be Debbie. How many of you had a good interaction with Debbie? Debbie Benstein. How many of you had a great interaction with Debbie? She helped you, and she helped you get moving. Several people hitting me up. Debbie rocked it out. So Debbie wins $100, and she's our January 2013 member of the month. So here's the dealio, guys. If you won something tonight, meaning if you even put a product together and you got it in within the time frame, I want you to contact me on Skype. Okay? Check, check. 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. All right, check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Are we coming through yet? All right, so we're back now. Okay, sorry, guys. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, by the way, I'm Poplar Bluffs Fun. We're naming Debbie our member of the month, and with that comes, like I said, $100. If you want a prize, I want you to contact me on Skype within the next couple days, and I want you to let me know what you actually want as far as your prize. Like I said, if you didn't win the top 3 and you still got a product in, contact me and I'll get you inside. I would recommend the buyer infiltration method because it's a way you can start making money even before you get your sales letter done. So that'll teach you how to do that. If you won one of the top prizes, please contact me with your on my Skype with your PayPal address, and we'll get you paid too. Also, our winner, or to up winner Morgan, I got to hook you up with Judy so you guys can get started on your sales letter soon. Morgan, you get to writing your sales letter. All there is to it. Get to writing that thing. Do a little bit of a tweak on your name in some of the images, and then we'll get it going. My Skype is coming in the box below, the questions box. My Skype address is my name, all one word, so you can get a hold of me. Guys, thank you so much. If you didn't get the top 3, I don't want you guys to think it was because you didn't do a good job. There were so many good jobs. And like I said, everybody voted on things. I am so freaking proud of the near 20 products that we just created out of thin air. And how many of you thought that you couldn't do it? Be honest with me. How many of you really thought that you couldn't do it? I want to know. Let me tell you something. When I started, I did not ever think that I could make any money with this. I never thought I could make any money with this. And guys, literally, literally, this is how I make my full-time income plus a lot of just kick around money now. This is what I do for a living. And let me tell you, there are so many people that in 2012 got in the Syndicate, they took challenges, and now that's how they make their full-time income. Craig Brower, who is here tonight, good friend of mine. Craig makes his full-time income on the internet. That's powerful. Craig doesn't have to worry about getting up and going to work every morning because this is what he does. So let me tell you guys, right now you are in a very dangerous place, but a very powerful place. And this is where you're at. You've got the product done, but you don't have a buy button up for it yet. If you don't get a buy button up for it in the next 2 weeks, you may never get this to work. The thing that you have to do, the thing that has to happen, now that the product is created, you're almost there. Don't stop now. You got to get the buy button up, okay? So 2 weeks, buy buttons. What I want to see in the thread of this forum is buy buttons. What do you think we're going to cover in 2 weeks? I know we're bringing our copywriter in, but what do you think our next 2 weeks to a month are about? You're going to have fun with this. You're going to love this because I'm going to give you the keys to the castle. Next week, I'm going to have Colin come in and clean up the copy for you. So make sure you have your page done in 2 weeks because Colin's going to show you even better how to get this stuff together. After that, I'm going to go through JV stuff. And yeah, I saved Colin for the end. I wanted to make sure. Colin Terrio will be here in 2 weeks. World-class copywriter, one of the smartest guys I know. And Colin's going to be in the room, and he is going to help you guys clean up your sales letters. Make sure you have your sales letters done in 2 weeks. What I showed you tonight will get you started, okay? What I showed you tonight will get you started. Next week when you have your letter, or next 2 weeks when you have your letter done, and it can be a draft, guys, Colin's going to show you even deeper as to why certain things should happen. And let me post links to the letter in the chat. Number one, if you want to follow the letter that we went through tonight, it's gravmethod.com. I'll have all those links up in the forum. Okay? Gravmethod.com. That's where you can find that letter. Now, here's the thing. 2 weeks from Colin, and this is why you have to keep up. If you don't keep up, we're going to lose you. And I don't want to lose you because you're going so fast now and you've got momentum. As soon as you get that sales letter, I'm going to teach you how to go get affiliates. I'm going to teach you how to go out, never knowing these people, and how to get affiliates to promote your product. Now, does everybody understand how important it is to keep up over the next month? Does it make sense? How many of you are excited about internet marketing for the first time in a long time? And if I've got one of you in the room that's excited about it, you know, that's good enough for me. Good, we've got more than one. So here's what we got. Between now and 2 weeks from now, I want you to get your sales letter done. It doesn't have to be perfect. My live sales letter that I just showed you is not perfect. So we got to have our sales letter done. When Colin comes in, he's going to show you guys some key things as to making those letters even better. So by the time we get to 4 weeks down the road, when I'm going to show you affiliate stuff, you're going to have a solid sales letter. You're going to have a solid product. And I guarantee you when you do these sales letters, you're going to improve your product. Because writing the sales letter actually helps you improve your product. I'm going to show you how to get affiliates. And as soon as you understand how to do that, what do you do after that, guys? I mean, I've got plenty of things to show you this year, but what do you do after you've got those pieces? You've got the product creation down. You've got the Colin stuff down. He's going to teach you the copy and the stuff I taught you tonight. You've got the copy, and then you're going to have how to get the affiliates. Rinse, repeat. Over and over and over again. Guys, when I first started, I literally did this every 2 to 3 weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I was launching something. God knows I don't do it anymore because I don't have to. But when I first started, I literally had such a system in place, and that's how we built our business. How many of you think you can do this? That was a trick question. How many of you know you can do it? Good. Good, good, good. Okay, one more thing, and then we're getting out of here, guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I have noticed in the past few weeks that the forum is not what I believe to be our best method of communicating with each other. We are going to be changing some things up as to how we communicate. Right now, we're sticking with the forum, just so you know. But we probably are going to be changing some things up down the road so that we can communicate better and that you can communicate with me better. So we're going to be changing some things up soon. Just be ready for that. You'll have information on that. Just keep in mind, 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to be meeting with Colin Terrio. If everything goes according to plan, that's going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern meeting. I'm sorry we've been moving the schedule so much. Excuse me. We should have a string of bless yous. There they are. Nice. I wasn't disappointed. Thank you, guys. All right. So in 2 weeks, make sure you show up. We should be going at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have my man, Colin Terrio. He's a really good friend of mine, a really talented person, extremely, extremely smart. He's going to help you clean up your sales letters, and we're going to get you into some amazing, amazing stuff. I'm so proud of you guys. So, so proud of what you've accomplished. If you want a prize, please contact me on Skype. I will not be checking them tonight, but I will get to you by the end of the week and we'll get everything set up. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you enjoyed the Syndicate. The replay will be up as soon as I can possibly get it up in the forum. And then as soon as we get that up, I want you to start posting links to your sales letters with buy buttons up if possible. If not, I just want to see your sales letters, and we're going to go from there. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great 2 weeks. Get to work. Get those babies up so by the time Colin gets here, we'll be ready to rock. All right, I will talk with you soon. Have a great one. Good night.